Okay, Doc. No, just let's just pause there and think about what you just
Mhm.
said. So Maynila is basically part of a low-lying area of Luzon, kaya talagang prone to flooding yan. Tapos nilagyan natin ng
Mhm.
maraming developments at daming population dito dahil nga may strategic value din yung kanyang location, no? Pero Doc,
Mhm.
no, we're not the only low-lying urban center in the world, no? I mean, nagbabasa kami ngayon tungkol sa kasaysayan ng flooding sa ibang bahagi ng mundo. You're very aware of the experience of Holland,
Yes.
no?
Mhm.
Low-lying din po sa Europa at nagkaroon din sila ng devastating flooding noong 1953, no, the Great North Sea Flood,
Mhm.
no, na ang dami rin namatay. 1953 na 'yon, no, more than 50 years ago. And nagkaroon sila ng whole of society approach. Gumawa sila ng mga dike, levees, polders, kung ano-ano mga infrastructure. And now they are considered a global leader in flood risk management, no? So
Mhm.
why can't we do the same thing? Bakit natin kailangan mag-suffer ng paulit-ulit na ganito? So what is preventing us from managing flood risk, no, na other societies have done that, at tayo ay paulit-ulit tayo nagdudusa ng ganito?
One of the features, tropical countries, it's a really a humid tropic country where you can get lots of rains. Typhoons in our case, we also have monsoons. We have even the intertropical convergence zone. And when the trade winds, you know, converge, then you have these rains and so on. Now in Europe, it's also the same. There are areas that are low lying, and in fact, in Spain or even in Rome, and then in Paris, but they have big rivers along those big cities. We also have a big river, Pasig River, which is maybe we pattern it from those European cities. But I think the big difference is that we are in a humid tropic country, lots of rain. So that's a big difference. Now, when you think about flood management or flood risk management, it's so difficult to just kind of do this, do that, because there are so many components as far as flood control, structural measures, and then you have non-structural measures. But one of the things that I've been noticing in the Philippines, we're very good in master planning. But the problem with the master planning, it's dependent on mga foreign na mga technical assistance. That's one. So once na ginawa yung study, pagtapos na yon, ginawa na, and then umalis na yung mga foreign consultants, wala nang follow-up. Now, if I look at flood uh, dynamics, flood disasters, it's a very evolutionary in nature, very dynamic, because you have, of course, land use change. When you change the land use, you'll have different pervious and impervious areas. You have mga encroachment, kung meron mga land developments, nawala na yung mga waterways that will bring water from the inland towards the rivers and then towards the sea. And you have all kinds of modifications and even unwanted na mga like garbage, like even in local drainage. Nawala yung capacity kasi napuno ng garbage. Now, how do you bring water all the way to the river and so on? Now, the other thing with flood control, we can always do master planning, but then your investments does not come right away. I mean, approved in 2012 yung Metro Manila Flood Master Plan, 350 billion, yung 350 billion, maybe 100 billion or so, nagawa pa. But that was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, ang dami na nagbago. Nagkaroon ng bagong subdivision dito, nagkaroon ng mga condominium, nawala na yung mga waterways, nagkaroon ng dumi. So it's overtaken by that, yung mga changes, bale. So should we keep on updating or revising our plan, which is no longer master planning, but really adaptive planning? You retrofit or you adapt. because nagbago na yung river landscape or yung landscape, so to speak, which is where all the flood, all the dynamics of flooding talaga, it's really affected by yung even social na mga yung migration. No? Dumami yung tao dito.